Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Murder Most Misfortunate. So last time, Prince Titanico died, or stabbed, or pushed down a balcony, or both. I don't know. Okay, so.
Is that a body? Here! Oh, positively horrible!
Should have been you! She's just drawn so differently than everybody else. It's freaking me out a little bit.
Everyone, shield your eyes. This is not a sight for fair
Again, it feels like it's like the 1800s or something. And then there's this bitch in shorts.
The other guests stood in the doorway opposite myself and Klops. My eyes fell on our oh-so-sensitive ingenue, Charisse. If ever there was a time to faint for real, this was it. But she didn't. She just stared into the room, her eyes wide, glassy, and unblinking.
Somebody needs to call the police!
Yes, ma'am. Right
I mean,
away.
you should have just done that without her having to tell you. I'm just saying.
It'll take them a while. We're ways out of the city.
We shouldn't touch anything. Let's all go back to the dining room and wait for the police to arrive.
No,
What?
we can't just sit and wait. We need to investigate. We need to see the truth with our own eyes. I'm with you on that, Sherry.
Well, if our precocious little darlings are going to be poking about, I'm certainly not going to be left out.
If you insist, then.
My dears, please do be very careful.
We won't disturb anything, Comtessa. I promise.
That is not what I meant. It could be that whoever did this has not gone far.
Oh. Surely it was just some villain who has since fled the scene.
I'll keep an eye out, sir. Just nobody wander far to understand.
Let's see. It could be him because maybe he's in love with this weird little freaking cupcake snowflake over here, and that's why he killed him. It could be her because she's actually crazy fucking psycho. I don't have a suspicion about her at all. I mean, it's probably her just because of that. And I don't know why she would have done it, but I don't know why Klops would have done it either, but
Perhaps it would have been more comforting to believe the culprit was some stranger, a shadow in the night that was now long gone. But it just wouldn't have fit the evening's theme, now would it? I had a hunch that there was something more afoot in the old manor that night, and I certainly wasn't going to trust anyone else to properly figure it out.
yeah, because they're going to try to blame you. We start our investigation in the dining hall.
No, what a tragedy. What a cruel
I'm not going to be able to
twist
forget
of
this night, you know,
fate.
right?
And to think, tonight was meant to be an evening of joy and making merry.
I'm not exactly sure that joy is the word I'd pick for an evening in this house. But I'll admit, I was never expecting anything like this.
It was such a monstrous sight. Do you think Miss Leah and Miss Charisse will be all right?
All right. They looked healthy enough to me.
No, I mean, do you think they'll be distraught? You, if you don't mind me saying, are a woman of the world, Misfortune. But they are so young, so pure, like a newly bloomed flower that has only seen sunlight, never knowing that there is also night and all the horrors that it hides.
A rose, by any other name, can still prick you quite nastily if you don't know what you're doing.
I beg your pardon?
Never mind, my dear Horatio. Horatio, how long had you known our dear departed host?
I have, well, had been his closest friend and confidant for many years.
Oh yes, the grand magus of his court, didn't you say?
I did, but alas, though I can conjure a parlor trick or two, I could do little to foresee this unseemly doom.
Indeed, unseemly. Just the word I could have used.
Unseemly.
Presumably you would know then, if the prince had any enemies.
Look at how evil he looks. He's staring daggers at us.
A man like the prince always does, but none of them are here.
I would say the evidence suggests the contrary.
Surely you don't mean to suggest that it was one of us. After all, didn't you say that all your husbands just died from bad luck? Perhaps it was that.
Yes, quite. Bad luck. Where were you when this absolutely dreadful business happened?
I imagine I must have still been in the basement, or very close to it. I'd only just got the lights back on, and I was coming up the stairwell when Klops found me.
Was he the one to discover the body then?
Assume so.
I believe so. He asked me to help find all the guests, which leads me to cleverly deduce that I was the first one he encountered after the gruesome discovery.
Why was that, Horatio?
Clever indeed. Nothing gets past you, does it, dear?
Ahem. Well, I wouldn't go that far. But where were you, Misfortune?
I was in the king bedroom.
Alone?
Maybe.
As it happens, yes. I've always been the sort to need a little bit of me time every so often, you know.
But you could have been in danger.
Oh, horrors, you're right. If only I was clairvoyant, I might even have been worried at the time, too.
Well, never fear. You're safe with me now.
I really do feel like the voice, like the way it's recorded, like it almost sounds like it's on a stage and like the lighting and everything. Oh no.
Yes, I'm sure I am. Prince Titanico mentioned an announcement that he wished to make this evening. Do you know what that was all about?
Yes. Or at least, I
So can we
think
poke
so.
around this room, or do we have to ask him all these questions first?
You mean you're not
Maybe
sure?
we'll find out when he's done.
You must understand, the prince was a man with a flair for the dramatic. He rather liked his secrets, and hence his surprises.
That I don't doubt. In fact, I wouldn't put it past him to have staged his own death, just to leave us all in suspense.
We're all
My
color
dear
coordinated.
friend did have rather unusual tastes, but I fear in this case it was not part of the
Like-
plan.
Mrs. White, Colonel Mustard, Miss Scarlet. I don't know. They're all like she's all red and like the Comtessa is all purple. The other girl's wearing all. Well, wait, no, but she's wearing. What color is she wearing? I don't know why I want to say green, but Klops is wearing green. It's weird.
I see. So, are you going to tell me then?
About what?
About the announcement, of
He's dead now. It's not
course.
like he's gonna mind.
No, I think not.
Bastard.
Oh?
As I said, he liked his secrets. Telling you now, it just wouldn't be what he'd want.
Well, if you do so insist on being obstinate, I suppose I will have to make do on my own.
A true magician never reveals his secrets, Misfortune, nor those of his friends.
I do believe it's about time I took a bit of a stroll.
Do be careful, Misfortune, and please, if you have need of my talents...
Worry not, my dear. If the lights happen to go out again, I'll know just who to call.
I don't think those are the talents he wants to show you. You may now examine your inventory, the luggage icon. Okay, what's in here? What's this?
Goodness, the evening must be wearing on me more than I thought. Even my purse seems heavy. A knife? In my bag? It's even flecked with blood.
Huh.
And what's this? A ring? It looks decidedly pricey, but it's not one of mine. How did it get here?
So the prince was going to propose to Charisse.
For just a moment, I was confused. But then the gruesome sight of Titanico's body flooded my thoughts, and the truth hit me. I was being set up. Almost certainly, what I held in my hands was the knife that had stabbed the prince. I don't know how it got in my purse, but whoever put it there had made a mistake. Because if there's one thing I know for sure, it's that anyone who tries to frame me for murder is going to regret
But here's the thing that I don't get. When did they get into her purse? This comes with me absolutely everywhere a lady can be without her handbag, can't she? Examine your inventory. Oh, whoops. Oh, cool. Where should I go? Well... Oh. Well, let's start with the main hall. Let's just start from the top and work our way down. We're not timed, so that's good.
As best I knew, our mysterious murder had happened here, in the hall. At the very least, I thought the body warranted a closer look. Luckily for me, I was no stranger to corpses. Funerals for 9 different husbands will do that, you know.
13, 14, 15.
It seems I'm not alone here. But what is the poor girl doing? She's just pacing back and forth and muttering to herself. Have the evening's events already broken her fragile little mind?
Already. We'll talk to her first.
My dear little mysteries, what in the world are you doing?
I'm counting.
So good to see they still teach that in grade school these days. How marvelous.
I think the timing seems off. I need to check again.
On second thought, maybe they don't teach it so well after all. I almost think I'll regret asking. But darling, what timing is off?
It's Mr. Klops, the butler.
Valet.
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, what about him then?
I saw him go into this room when the lights were out.
I see. Is that when he found the body, do you think?
I think so. He came running out looking for Mr. Horatio. I don't
But
think
what
he
were
saw
you
me.
doing in there? Why were you there? 'Cause you murdered him?
Well, you can't blame the poor man for that. He only sees half as much as the rest of us. But just what does that have to do with all your pacing and counting?
I think he was in here too long.
I beg your pardon.
It was
Too
her.
long?
I've been timing how long it takes to walk from the door to the body. It doesn't add up. I'm sure he was in here longer. Maybe an extra
'Cause he
20
walked in, saw
seconds.
the body. Oh my god, let me try to... Is he okay? Is you revived? Let me run back out. I mean, Jesus. She could just run in, run out.
Well, aren't you a delightfully clever little girl? Maybe you should have been a detective rather than a fabulously wealthy industrial heiress.
Oh, it's nothing, really. It's just... well, it's not my first time being around a murder case. That's all. I guess that helps a little.
Oh.
I'm sorry, my dear, but did you say this isn't your first murder?
Yes. I mean, no. I mean, it wasn't my murder. But I was there when it happened.
My. I never would have imagined. It must make for an absolutely thrilling story, I'm sure.
Please, you must forgive me, but I really don't want to talk about it.
Of course. How rude of you to pry. I'm sure the experience must have been just ghastly for you. But, oh my, you don't suppose it could have something to do with our current predicament, do you?
No. No, I don't think so. It was a long way away. And the killer was stopped. And besides, except for Leah and I, nobody here was involved.
Because Leah and I are murderers. I'm Genocide Jill. Why didn't I click? There we go.
Well, that's a relief. It would be just awful if there was a serial killer following you around, or something like that. It must just be coincidence, then, that people keep dropping dead wherever
Speak
they
for, I mean,
go.
seriously, pot calling the kettle black there?
I suppose that it must be.
In any case, it's a good thing I found you, my dear. I had a feeling you just might be in need of my expertise.
Your expertise?
Dead husbands.
Oh, yes, dear. I've buried 9 husbands after all. I've got this morning business down pat, if I do say so myself.
Forgive me, I didn't know. I'm so sorry to hear it. That's just so much bad luck for one
I mean, seriously, your
lifetime.
husbands don't last that long.
One gets used to it. And it's not all bad news. My last husband, the Duke, left me this marvelous country estate that is absolutely to die for. But, silly me, here I am going on and on about myself. You must be so terribly distraught about all of this.
The prince and I, well, we hadn't been seeing each other for very long. But still, it's such a horrible crime. That's why I can't rest until I know the truth behind it.
He did seem rather smitten with you, I must say.
Well, he just liked to exaggerate, I'm sure. He had rather his own unique way with words.
Unique is one way to put it. You don't suppose that, in his grandiose infatuation, he wrote you into his will?
Or the reason to kill him.
Oh, I can't imagine that he would have. He never said so anyway.
But he had a ring.
Pity. That's usually the first thing I ask for. Ah, well, live and learn, my dear.
They were only dating a short while. Like, hey, so I know that we're dating. I guess we can't ask any more questions, so examine the room. Titanico's body.
I
such a
decided
fun
it was
character.
time to take a closer look at the body. Corpses are always a bit distasteful, to be sure, but I'd seen enough rich old lords killed in unfortunate hunting accidents that I was rather used to it.
Accidents.
There was something odd about the prince's right hand. I knelt down to get as close a look as I could without touching it. The palm and inside of the fingers had been burnt and blackened. I checked the left hand as well, just to be sure, but it seemed undamaged.
Burnt and blackened, like from a candle if he was holding it, or did he have a gun? We would have heard that. I'm sure it's the knife wound, yeah.
The prince's most obvious injury was the wound on his back. Judging from the way the clothes had been pierced, it had almost certainly been made by a knife. The wound itself was deep and vicious, clearly the work of no ordinary butter knife. The blood had soaked through the back of the prince's evening wear, but given the nastiness of the wound itself, there wasn't as much of it as I might have expected.
He was murdered somewhere else. Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't look right.
The prince was face down on the floor, and there was an odd angle to his right leg.
Left.
So odd, in fact, that I'd wager a platinum necklace or two that it was broken in at least one.
She said right leg, but this was his right hand. So if that's his right hand, how's that his right leg?
Could simply collapsing on the spot from a stab wound cause a break like that? I seriously doubt it.
Okay, so I guess that's all we're supposed to get out of him. Oh wait, can we? I guess that's all we get. So can we? Oh, okay, okay. So what up? Candles?
Was it only coincidence that the trail of candles in the center of the main hall seemed to lead straight to the body of the prince? Or had our mysterious killer intentionally used them to frame their handiwork out of some sense of macabre artistry?
I don't know.
Well, tragic as it might be to despoil a work of art, it occurred to me that a candle might come in handy for searching the dark old house. Since with all the commotion of finding the body, I must have misplaced the one I had earlier.
Candle. Okay, candles. The landing. Okay, so we have candles, we have the landing. What else can we? Dirt. Good lord, why is there a huge pile of dirt? So let's go here, because I have a feeling the landing will carry us up. Maybe the landing doesn't carry us up. I guess that's it. Okay, so let's do dirt. And then we'll do the landing in case it takes us up.
The house must have been abandoned for quite some time indeed. For on one side of the hall, part of the wall itself had collapsed, and nature was slowly but surely spilling into the house and reclaiming its territory. Let's hope that the place would hold up long enough for us to wrap up our little party at the very least.
Yeah, see, I was like, I don't want to. Phone?
I suppose I could dial a number here, if I knew of one worth calling.
Yeah, but... Oh, whoops, sorry. Cancel?
What have we here? There's an extra wire clipped to the back of the phone. I'm quite certain this sort of phone doesn't normally need more than one wire. Let's just leave it alone for now, shall we?
There's like 3 wires on that, it looks like. Evidence of tampering? Okay. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh.
The phone itself was heavy, made of metal,
Looks like
and
wood
certainly
to
quite
me.
old-fashioned. Normally, that's the sort of style I prefer, but right now, a call history of some kind would have come in rather handy.
Okay, I can't. Oh, sorry. Duh.
But why is the receiver dangling like that? Did this table get bumped at some
They
point?
pushed him off the landing. I mean, come on. That's why his leg's broken, right? They stabbed him and he got pushed off the landing. Can't we look at that, I guess? So Charisse is gone. We can't talk to her again? Oh. Can we... Okay. I'm just wondering if things change, you know what I mean? Like, if you gain an important piece of information, it may be useful to go back and talk to characters you've previously talked to. Okay. So yes, okay. That answers that. Yeah, but I don't know who to, you know what I mean? Like, well, let's go to the dining hall. We'll just go down the list. The dining hall. Well, maybe we can talk to what's-his-face again. Nope, we already talked about all that. Examine the room. Okay.
The family crest of the Lees still adorns some of the flags and banners that hung from the walls in the dining room. I suppose it wasn't a bad crest, really. A little overly dramatic with all the spikiness, perhaps. But then, they weren't exactly a family that had cultivated a particularly cuddly image. Long, narrow tables stretched down either side of the room
Is
for what seemed like forever.
Just
At one end were the remnants of our refreshments from earlier. But I think I'll leave them alone.
is
for
it just me, or was it like at one point like she sounded to be quite loud, and it was like, oh, okay, it's gotten louder. That's cool. And now it's like she's very whispering again.
I mean, it didn't look like poison had anything to do with the prince's death, but one can never be too careful.
We already got the table. Oh,
Inside the lantern was a candle. I doubt anyone would notice if I took it with me.
okay. What if I?
The family crest of the Lees still adorns some of the flags and banners that hung from the walls in the a little overly dramatic.
Okay, so that's exactly the same. Okay, so it's the same whether we in the same table. So I'm assuming that's all we can. Monument.
At first, I was inclined to laugh at the giant, oddly proportioned statue that was the dining room's centerpiece. But as I drew
Huh.
closer, I couldn't help but feel a bit intimidated by the way it loomed over me.
Seriously? I mean, this is creepy as fuck.
Then again, I could say the exact same things about that gruesome one-eyed manservant Klops. Who'd have ever thought he would have so much in common with a work of
creepy as fuck.
art?
Okay. Okay, so that's it. So we're gonna stop. I don't think we can. Okay, there's nothing else. Let's leave here. I'm actually going to. Manor Grounds is next. I'm actually going to wrap this part up here because we've been going quite long. So we will continue our investigation when we come back. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.